Hello there. Hope you're having a great day. I have some fun stuff to do with you today. We're going to make another talisman for Raphael, the sphere of Mercury, and we're going to use his. We're going to do a star talisman, and we're going to. Oh, let's make sure that you can see this. I'm going to try to be more cognizant of keeping everything in the shot. It's hard for me when I get going. All right, so here's our tree. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Mercury and Raphael is on sphere number 8. That's called Hod, or we also call it Glory. All right, in our system we use a lemon yellow for our color, and then the flashing color to that would be this dark violet or purple. Okay, so everybody, oh, I better get a ruler, my trusty ruler, and it's just while we're over here, we'll get a lighter for later, and let's put on the glasses and get this show on the road. Let's lop off the end here so that we have a square. I suppose I could do all of this before I start filming so these videos are a little less boring, and then I'd probably even get more viewers, but you know what, I'm here. That's saying a lot, the fact that I get up to do this stuff so early. So I apologize if I don't have as much prep work done as I probably could. But this is not a job. This is just a service. I have a full-time business that I have to take care of, so I do what I can. All right. So you know the rub. If you haven't seen any of these videos before, you might want to watch one of the earlier talisman videos. But we start by finding the center of our the center of our square. The nice, I'm going to use a rather dark dot. Okay. And we want do we want an 8-inch circle? Really? No. Let's use a harmonic. Now remember the harmonics? Remember how those go? So if we want to go bigger, we double something. So the harmonic, the first harmonic larger of 8 is 16. Well, we definitely don't want a 16-inch circle. So since we're using inches, I mean, you could use any unit of measurement. I could use 8 centimeters if I wanted to, and that would be fine. But I'm going to go ahead and stick with inches. So let's go down 1 harmonic. So that's half of the number. So half of 8 is 4. Okay, and then the next harmonic down from that is 2, and the next harmonic down from that is 1. Now, what's interesting about that on the Tree of Life, now this is only for measurements. These harmonics don't necessarily have much to do with other numerology, but what's interesting about this particular one is 8 and 4 and 2 and 1. These spheres, Mercury, Jupiter, and then these upper supernal spheres are all related by those measurements and harmonics, and I always find that rather fascinating. I don't know what significance that has, but I'm sure if we meditated long enough, we would find something very fascinating. Okay, so we're going to make a 4-inch diameter circle. So the way I do that is, you could just make a 2, just half it and just cut it 2. But I always put the 2 right on the dot. I always put the half right on the dot, and then I mark it at where I want it. And so I put the half on the center dot, and then I mark it where I want the diameter, just to make sure I'm doing it right. Just to make sure, because I can't always trust myself to not make huge mistakes. Okay, and if you make mistakes, we know what that means. Erase them, because that's why we work in pencil. And then we can color it in later. I think, speaking of making mistakes, that I already messed up. This'll work. I'm going a little bit darker today because people have been complaining that they can't see a thing when I do the first sketch in pencil. So there you can see that's a 4-inch circle. Okay, now let's go ahead and make a smaller inner circle where we can put our words of power. So that's going to be our 2-inch circle. Now there's a couple reasons why we like doing this when, oops, I don't want to do it in purple. There's a couple reasons why I like this little inner circle with the right harmonic. One is it gives you a little bit more space, because if you bring the star through and you cross the lines through the middle, it gives you a very small space to write your intentions. And so that's the practical reason for it. And then the other reason I like it is that right angles that encase these intentions, these power words, I've noticed that they're not as, the energy's not as smooth, the results are not as smooth. They tend to be a little bit more, I don't want to say violent, but I notice that if I have a smooth circle, or at least round the edges off, if I'm using a full-on geometric pattern, that the energy is a lot smoother. I don't know that that's true, it's just what I've discovered, so I'm just sticking with my gut there. Okay, and then I'm going to make a 1/2-inch circle on the outside of that, and this is not a harmonic. What we do with this little outer circle is we're just going to put some god names, and this way we have it's like a roof over the god names. It just kind of encases them and makes them you know, like a little temple almost. So, but there's no harmonic involved with that. So the main circle is this, the first one that I drew. The secondary circle is this harmonic, and then this one, I don't know that I want to say it's purely for aesthetics, but it doesn't matter as far as the measurement. It's just to hold the god names in place. Okay, so then we've got, oh my, with the bad circle drawing today. That's alright. Look how easy that was. I think I can pick up where I left off with no issues. No, I think I have issues. So let's just redo this whole darn thing. Oy vey. Let's try that again. Just keep a little bit more pressure on the needle there in the center so it doesn't wander as much. And we just take our time and do our best. Alright, so look and see if you can see what we're doing here. We've got, this is our main circle. That's the harmonic of 8. So that's our main talisman. So if we were going to just do a basic talisman with only you know, some writing in it, we could use this as a main circle. Then we are putting in this harmonic in the middle to encase some words. It's kind of a small space for the words, but it would be even smaller if we just had those lines crossing through the middle there. And then this is just going to be for encasing the divine names that we're using. Okay, hopefully that makes some sense. So to make a star of Mercury, we want an 8-pointed star. So we take 360 divided by 8. And that gives us 45. So what I like to do is just start out with marking my top of the star. Use that as my home base. And then from there, we will, oh, can you see me? Ooh, I'm gonna be so much more careful. We're gonna just mark 45. And turn that last mark so that it lines up with the 0, and then another 45. This is how I work. You could go around the protractor, you know, if you wanted to, but this is how I just keep myself from making big mistakes and going off on tangents accidentally, which I am wont to do. And I'm sure that that's because of all of that Aries and Aquarius in me. It's real easy for people like me to go off on tangents, and so we use whatever tools we can to keep ourselves a little bit focused so that we don't have to go back and correct quite as many mistakes, even though we tend to make lots of them. But there's benefits in all of that. Now, do you see what I did? I made little marks with those little 45-degree points, right? So now what we do is we take those and we line them up with the center. We're just going to bring them into just right outside of the circle. So I'm going to show you this one here. See, this is where it was on the protractor, but I want it right here. So I just I just lined up my ruler with this, and I marked that right on the ruler, right outside that circle. But that's probably not what I wanted to do, because I wanted it on the inner circle. And you see what I'm saying with me and my mistakes? I make so many of them. Pencil and art gum. Okay, now you can see what I did. I pulled it from here into just outside that main circle, because that's where my star is going to be. Okay, so I'm going to do that for each of these 8 points. I'm going to put it right outside this main circle. We're going to, I think we'll set up the circle first and then the star today, just to have a little fun. Okay, so here's all of our star ray points. The points of the rays are right outside this main circle, which is now the middle circle, but that's our main first harmonic. That's our main talisman. Okay. All right, I'm going to show it to you again. You see how I brought all those points right into there? Okay. All right, so now let's make our star. Let's just make our star. So what I do is we're gonna skip 2. Excuse me. Do we want to skip 2? There's ways to do this where I'm gonna skip 2. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start my first point, and then I'm gonna skip these 2 and then draw the line here. But I'm going to not draw the line through that that middle little donut hole there. You see, it's like that. And then I'm going to skip 2 here, 1, 2, and do it like this. And then I'm going to skip 2. And then skip 2. And just around and around we go until we get through all 8 of these rays. And I'm drawing it kind of dark so you can see it better, because I do apologize for not being clearer. I know that can be, well, look what I did. Look what I did. I'm going to have to do some fixing. That's okay. That's what happens when you talk and chat and you don't pay attention to what you're doing. It just is the way it works. For heaven's sake. That's all right. Okay, this is right. There should be little triangles in here. But I see this one I screwed up kind of. Why did I do that? Did I? Maybe it's this. No, I just made some measurement issues. That's okay. That's all right. Okay, so here's our main star. I think what I'll do, well, I'll do that when I color it in. All right, so now let's break up this circle for the god names. You've seen me do this. I already have my cross quarterly points marked here because it's an 8-pointed star, so everything is like right on the money. So I'm gonna, actually I can just do it this way. Ha! We already have these marked here, so all I have to do is this. See how I already had the point marked at the cross quarterly point? So I'm just marking two little things right outside of there. And I'm using, so what I'm doing is I'm lining this point up with just any point. I happen to be using 90. And then I just mark at the 85 and at the 95. And then I have 3, and I'll show you, in case you haven't seen me do this stuff before, I'll show you why in a second. This is saving us a little time. For some reason, I never realized this. Did I ever do this like this? Maybe I have, I don't know. All right, so see how I have these little, so, should I start, let's just start putting these in with the purple. So I can line these up so I can actually do 2 at once. Like this. And save a little time that way. My goodness, this has got some messiness to it, but we will fix all that. This is an old talismanic technique, breaking up this outer circle into the cross quarterly in order to keep those the repetition of the god names very kind of segregated, so that the 4 directions are represented well. Okay, now let's take our eraser and get rid of some of this goop. Okay. I wonder if I can use this. Let's see if this will work. Yeah, it's not so bad. It's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to get rid of these little pencil ticks here. Oh boy, I really pressed hard on this one. It's all right. I'm trying to help you guys by letting you see what I'm doing, and in so doing I went overboard, and now it's hard to erase all of my guide marks. Alright, let's get rid of all this nonsense. And then you can see where we are with all of this, and then we'll color it in and make it prettier. Oops. Alright. So that's where we are now with our talisman. Okay, so let's take this. I think we're going to go ahead and trap again. So I'm going to open up the top of the star in this top circle. Just going to use my eraser to do it. And then I'll close it back later. See what I did? I just erased and put a little opening there. And then I'll put an opening on this middle circle as well. I don't need this middle dot anymore. Okay, so let's take this purple and we'll color this stuff in a bit. I think I'll just do it freehand, just because I don't want this video to be so long. I might even, yeah, this is, I'm just gonna do it like this. I like these angles, but if your measurement's a little bit off, then sometimes you'll get the triangles and sometimes you won't. These little middle triangles. It's okay. Raphael's real easy to work with. All of them are, but especially Raphael. He's very, very easy to work with. He's a good guy. They all are, though. There's no bad angel. Some angels have Some angels, well, all angels have their negative aspects, their so-called negative aspects, but they're not really negative. It's just it can appear that way if you don't feel like going through whatever it is they want you to go through. So, but it's not their fault. But for the most part, if we keep our hearts as pure as possible, and you know, we work with love and kindness, wanting to get better and grow and do, you know, some righteous work on ourselves, the angels are really, really happy to help us, I've noticed. And they are beings of pure love. But remember, love brings up everything that's not like itself in order to heal. Did I just color over that? See what happens when you talk? See what happens when you talk, Ariel? You forget what you're doing. It's alright, I can open this up again. Even though it's a little messy, we'll open it up. Alright. Not gonna do that again. Alright, then we're just gonna, I'm just making this as dark as we can for y'all. And when you do this, it's okay to take a lot more time than this. I just don't want to bore everybody, because I'm sure I've lost about 90% of my viewers by now, because it's like, okay, we're watching him draw. How fascinating for all of us. Yay, thanks Ariel, that was so fascinating. Okay, remember to keep the opening at the top and color over it, because you're absent-minded like Ariel. Oh shoot, that's alright. If all else fails, just color it in a little darker, right? I did it again. This is going to look like a second grade art project, but that's okay. Raphael is very, very, very happy that we're doing this, I'm sure. I mean, because the fact is, most people don't bother these days to do anything worthwhile. They just expect to wave a wand and have a puff of smoke deliver their desire to them. The law of attraction is just a crack up, the way they expect everything just to be handed to them. And it's such an insult to the art itself to treat it like that. And it's an insult to those of us who take it seriously and practice and train in it. No, that's not how it works. It works by making us better people. You see? And there's a little opening at the top. Okay, so today we're going to do a transformation talisman. So I'm going to start out with the word peace. I will put all viewers, so you're all in here. And we're going to put in transformation. I should have started with peace, but I didn't. Peace. P-A-C-E. Transformation, peace, let's put purity. Why not? So we are purity, so that we are going to be purified of all of that dense stuff that we're trying to get rid of. All right, so then we're going to close this up. Oh, did I show you? So I just put in the intentions in the middle, just using still plain English, and then we close up the star and the circle on all of that. All right, all closed up. Okay, and then Elohim Sabaoth. So I'm gonna break it up word for word on this one. Well, I could just put it all in here. Elohim. Boy, this is gonna be really small though. fine. Just when you're doing it, you can take a little more time. I'm going to write it all in cursive this time. Just write it. I'm not doing all caps anymore. Elohim Sabaoth. This is English transliteration of Hebrew. Eventually you can use Hebrew characters if you like, or not. It's up to you. If you do Hebrew, write it from right to left. Sabaoth. Okay, so I used all caps on that one, and then I just wrote it in on those. Okay, so we're gonna let's take take a whole inch off. Let's do that. So inchy inchy. Excuse me, this cold is one of those things that I'm not sick anymore. I am so not sick as far as like I feel fine, but the drainage just does not want to stop. So I'm hoping Raphael, the great physician, can transform that for me as well as everything else that we want today. So let's put that in our intention meter here. Because I'm not complaining. I'm very happy as a rule, but I'd like to not be a snot factory anymore, please. Just saying. I'm so grateful though, because so many people got the flu this year and it was horrible. I mean, it was just awful how sick people got. Knocking on wood, I didn't get any of that nonsense. I just got a silly little cold, and it just keeps, it's the gift that keeps on giving. All right. But luckily I did not feel sick. I didn't have to stay in bed or any of that stuff. Okay, so we're gonna just cut all of this off. And this is the messiest talisman I think I've ever made. That's all right. Raphael is just fine. Remember, Raphael is the sphere of Mercury, same sphere as Hermes and Tahuti and God Mercury, the grand great alchemist, right? That's what that energy is. And so we're going to invoke into the talisman simply by using his planetary sigil. It's very simple and yet very effective. And so what we've done is except for I've done them all upside down. Oh my gosh. That is the funniest thing I think I've ever heard in my life. I might just lop up a little more. Oh, that's so funny. Now, how many times have you done that? Well, I've never done that before, but you know what? There's a first time for everything. Let's see if I can get away with another little... Can I get away with a ½ inch? I think I can. Okay, just because it'll be a little bit neater. That is so funny. Oh my gosh, I love it. I just love it. Will this work? Or is this gonna cut? No, it'll work. It'll work. Let's do it to it, Mrs. Pruitt. Here we go. I put Mercury upside down, you poor thing. I'm sorry. It is so hilarious. Okay. Let's lop off a ½ inch. And I think all will be well. Oh my my gosh, don't you love that I just show you how absolutely bonkers I am? Alright. It's because I'm used to doing magic at night, so this morning magic stuff is new to me. Well, I mean, that's not the only reason. Part of the reason is just that I get to be a little bit flaky. But I am so sort of out of it in the morning. I mean, okay, let's do that again. We'll have to pay a little bit closer attention this time. That was really funny. It really made my morning. Right. Oh my gosh. But see, anybody else would have just started a new video. No, you need to see me make mistakes over and over again, so that way you don't think, oh, I can never do that. Yeah, you can. Right side up. I could have probably just tried to erase that and then wrote it over, but I didn't. All is well. Alright, so there's our talisman. All is well. It survived. It survived. Alright, so let's clean our space off a bit here. My goodness, there's a lot of eraser goo. I must have really needed a lot of erasing today. Okay, so today we are going to spray some agua de colonia concentrada by Alvarez Gomez. And we visualize a beautiful white light encompassing and enveloping us, purifying us as we relax. And we call upon the Archangel Raphael. Some Van, and a little bit of his favorite lily of the valley. One of his favorites, anyway. We call upon the Archangel Raphael. We ask that he be with us and heal us and transform everything in our lives that's not working. And we're going to think about at least one thing right now which isn't working for us. And we're going to ask that we be transformed, that we take it and turn it into a win for us. Something wonderful. We're very grateful for Raphael's presence. Whatever it is that you're dealing with, I know that you are in Raphael's good graces. You are definitely in my prayers. And we are going to be working on a psalm for transformation next, and we'd love to have you over at that video if you'd like to join us. If not, perhaps you'd like to meditate a little bit longer with Raphael. And if you want to make a star of your own, I would love to have you do that. And feel free to join us on our Facebook group and tell us how it went. And I can't wait to hear about all your success stories. Until next time, blessed be.